Hey there, it's Trudy, One Grounded Angel, here to do a reading for you of angel cards for the week starting August the 24th to the 30th, 2020. So a lot of stuff going on at the moment, both in world events and also energetically. So I hope you're looking after yourself and managing to get through one day at a time if things are tough. So the purpose of these cards is to give us guidance on how to deal with what's coming up, how to make better choices, and what sort of lessons we might need to absorb within those circumstances, because sometimes we can't change what's happening. So, a lot of the time we can, but sometimes we can't. So it's about changing the way we feel about those things. And this card is very much on that note. So Monday's card is courage. One thing I would emphasize with this is the wording on the card. I don't always read that. Many of you know I don't always share the same sentiments that these cards were designed with, but they are designed for the reader to interpret them their way. And the way I often just read this as a straight message about being brave and having courage and calling on, Archangel Michael if we need a boost of it. But I'm being guided to read this message, and I think it's appropriate. Be courageous and stand up for your beliefs. Now, the reason I'm emphasizing that is because on Sunday, yesterday, depending on maybe today, depending on what day you're watching this video, Sunday's card is the activist card, about being an advocate for what matters, for causes, for people, for ourselves, standing up for ourselves. So you can see this real assertive kind of energy coming to the fore this week as a hangover from last week, but maybe we're going to see more messages along this. If you have a tendency to be a doormat, to hold back, don't rock the boat. This was very much conditioning in my family. Don't rock the boat. We don't want to cause any upset. That can make it really difficult for you to stand up and say something about injustice. It can be really difficult for you to, when you are being treated badly, to say, actually, I'm out. I won't stand for that. Maybe you even feel like you deserve it. So if that's going on for you, definitely you need to work on that, and don't be afraid to call for an expert if you need it. We can't walk this journey alone. I mean, large parts of it we will be on our own, but we do need to call in help. So don't be afraid to reach for an expert to help you with that, whether that's a coach, whether it's an energy healer like myself, whether it's a psychologist, whatever it is that you feel guided to do. You could just see this as a message, as I said, about being brave and doing the thing that you know you need to do right now. Courage isn't something that the angels will give us from an outside source. It's something they will bring to the fore from within us. We already have the reserves to do what we need to do. It's just that fear gets in the way sometimes. And fear doesn't go away. This is about you staying the course, going ahead with what you know you need to do in spite of the fear. Tuesday's card here is life purpose. This is something that can be really a source of stress for a lot of people, the life purpose, because a lot of people will say, I don't know my life purpose. And that can really send them into a lot of panic, which I understand. The thing I would say about life purpose is, for a start, you've usually got multiple life purposes. And it's okay if you don't know. It's really okay. We develop it as we go. I know part of mine is the work I'm doing here with you and with my clients. It is to assist people on their own spiritual journey. It's also to do my own personal development, which enhances my ability to give back to other people. I have to do the work on myself on an ongoing basis to enhance my ability to bring energy through to other people and to speak with a little bit more authority about the sorts of challenges that can come up in life. So that's part of it, but there are lots of other things as well. Those of you with children, absolutely having children, being a parent, being a good role model is part of your purpose, but there will be other things as well. We live in a society that wants to define us by the roles we play. And you can see this sometimes in people's like their bios on social media or whatever. They'll describe themselves by their relationships to other people, women in particular. I am this person's mother. I am this person's wife. I am this person's employee. I am this person's boss. Those sorts of things. But the roles we play as an employee, as a spouse, a parent, that doesn't define you. They're not who you are. They're just things you do. You're more than just those things. I'm not saying they're not important. I'm just saying there is more for you. And if you don't know what that more is yet, that's okay. Just hold space for it to develop. Your purpose, you are here to do something. I don't know what it is. It might be really small. Not all of us are here to build a Taj Mahal as a monument that lives on. That's okay. It's about more, the best work you can ever do on yourself is your own self-development, your own working through the limiting beliefs that are keeping you stuck, your own fears, working through your traumas, letting go of the things that are keeping you stuck. That is immense, and that is enough. If that's all you do, that is enough. So let's go now to Wednesday's card. So I should say also, excuse me, with that life purpose card, if you have been getting a feeling that something is your life purpose, this card can absolutely serve as confirmation of that. Wednesday's card, God box. I don't love the words God box, but I do love the exercise that this is associated with. It is about an exercise where you imagine an angel in front of you holding a box, and you imagine yourself putting each of the things that you are worried about into that box. And then you imagine this angel taking it up to heaven to transmute it, to look after it for you so that it's not weighing you down. This is a really simple way that you can get rid of some of this really heaviness on your shoulders, as well as the worry up here. The ideas often are driven by this. There's sort of an underlying belief often, I have to watch over all the things I'm worried about at all times to make sure they don't, sneak up on me and ruin my life. So I have to toss over this problem again and again and again and again in my mind to be vigilant over it. Otherwise, I'm going to get caught out by it. Something bad's going to happen. But we know that worrying doesn't actually fix problems. Problems often come when we're not thinking about the problem. And sometimes they get resolved by themselves. So the purpose is not to say you shouldn't worry about this. The purpose of this card is really to say, call on the divine for help. You don't have to manage this all by yourself. In fact, it's probably better if you don't. So why don't you call on some help to get some relief of that burdening, of that mental load, which is exhausting you and preventing you from maybe doing things like, I don't know, working on your life purpose. It's hard to do that when we're so trapped in fear. Let's go to, I should say, sometimes people like to do this before they go to bed at night. You don't have to be someone who is worried to do this. It can be just a way of, excuse me, putting your thoughts in and, just kind of lightening the burden of your thoughts, even if they're not things you are actively worried about. So Thursday's card, and also, just when you think I'm done, if you don't like the words God box either, just call it divine box. That's what I do. And you might even like to sub out that exercise and just use journaling instead. I know particularly many of you who work with me as clients are big fans of journaling and find it really helpful for getting things out of here, out of you, out of your body, into something else. It gives you clarity and perspective. Thursday we have two cards. Excuse me. I'm not ill. I've just eaten my lunch in a massive hurry. So the first card we have for Thursday is Miracles. I just love the colours here. The card is about believing in things that we cannot yet see, which is what we are called to do every freaking day. Instead of getting trapped into this desire to control our circumstances, to feel safe by expecting the worst, maybe we could hold space for things that we can't see yet, for possibility, for beautiful outcomes. And you know, if dealing with constant pessimism is a real issue for you, you might like to talk to me about some energy healing, because I definitely have some clearings that can help with those barriers that we put up energetically against good outcomes. It may not be a miracle in the, capital letters sense of the word. It may be a smaller good thing, holding on to hope. Maybe you would just take this message as that. We also have this card, retreat. Now with COVID, many of us are not having the option to actually go on retreats right now. So you might like to think of this as not so much a yoga retreat or anything like that, although, if you are in a country where it's safe to do that and you have the opportunity and that's something you've been thinking about, this could be the card for you. I would see this as a retreat from what you're doing right now. A retreat from maybe all the things that you're worried about. A retreat from playing all these roles. Maybe you need a break. Maybe that's all you need to get from this message. Getting away from things so we can see them more clearly. And again, not to repeat myself, but journaling is a really good way to get away, get that clarity. Being in nature also really amazing for that. And we know being around bodies of water, that flow really helps with that shifting of trapped emotions. So 2 cards there, which I think complement each other quite beautifully for Thursday, yep, can't count. Friday's card now. Oh, I just bent this card right in half. It'll be fine. Nothing to see here. Friday's card, your home is protected by angels. I feel a strong connection here with the Wednesday card, the God box. It's again about feeling safe. When we talk about safety, well, when I first started reading about safety, my thoughts would often go to physical safety in terms of crime or threats. But safety isn't really just about those things. It's more about emotional safety. How comfortable do you feel within your skin? Do you feel safe to go about your day without worrying about things constantly going wrong? Do you feel able to trust in your own ability to deal with whatever comes up for you, or are you constantly in this fight or flight mode against these threats that whether real or imagined? So this might be a call. Safety seems to be a big theme here, and security. I would also say this card here, your home is protected by angels, can also be about physical safety. If one of the reasons you're having trouble sleeping at night, and this certainly has been a big problem for me in the past, not so much now because I've done a lot of work, but I used to be constantly worried about the house being broken into. Sometimes I just couldn't sleep because I was so worried about it. No actual physical reason for that threat. It wasn't like I was, in a bad neighborhood. It was just, in fear, totally in fear. So this exercise I was taught really helped, where you would ask Archangel Michael to send guardian angels to every door and every window of your property while you sleep, starting from now at the point you're doing this exercise, which is ideally just before you go to bed, or even when it gets dark, that's comfortable for you, to watch over you and all the occupants of the house while you sleep, to keep you safe. You might like to expand on that by saying something so that nothing external comes in that shouldn't be in, and nothing goes out that shouldn't be out. I don't know, I'm just freeballing here. The message is about feeling safe. Now, this card can come up for people who have been thinking about moving and not sure about it. If that's you, this card can also be a validation that it's right for you to do that. If you're not feeling settled in your home, you might like to take some steps around that, whether that's getting an energy healer to clear the energy, whether it's making some changes to the layout. Maybe you bring in some soft furnishings or something like that. Maybe it's getting rid of your ex's stuff, decluttering. Maybe it's around needing to reach a different, I don't want to say peace agreement, but reaching some sort of place of peace or acceptance with your housemates. I don't know. It can go a lot of ways, that card. So Saturday's message here is go the distance. Always beautiful imagery on these cards. So this is about staying the course, staying on track with what you're doing, keeping going. Remember that fear is not coming up to tell you you're in the wrong place. It's often coming up to say you're on the right track, and this is fear coming up because it's scared. Your ego is scared that you are making changes that will mean you are in circumstances that you cannot control, and that's really triggering for the ego. So it wants to keep you safe, it wants to keep you stagnant, it wants to keep you doing the things you've always done. So it doesn't like change, and that's why as soon as you start to make changes, often these things can go ding, 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 ding. And if you are particularly enmeshed in fear, you'll go, oh, this must be a sign I'm doing it wrong. Oh, this is not meant to be, I'm out. But the key is to stay the course and to keep going. I think this does connect quite beautifully back to that Monday card around courage, which seems to be pretty strong, again, about safety. Can you feel safe even in the midst of great change and uncertainty? I wrote a blog post last week about making peace with not knowing how things are going to work out, and I think that seems to be a bit of a message worth repeating this week and many weeks, I would say. It's certainly something, and I mentioned this in the blog post, I can go in and out of. We're human. Life is scary sometimes. Sunday's card here is voyage. I am safe and loved no matter where I am. I love this. Again, we're talking about navigating. There's literally a boat here for those who may not be able to see it super clearly. Any sort of mode of transport, if you're dreaming about it, is about the way you are traveling through life. And this is a boat. It's sailing. It needs to stay afloat. There's enormous risk in being in a boat. Maybe it depends on what sort of boat we're talking about, but if we're on top of choppy waters, we are exposed to storms and turbulence. And water is all about emotions, deep emotions. So if you're going through a transition, a change, some sort of uncertainty, maybe you feel like you're unsteady. Maybe you're feeling like you're going through a storm that you don't know how to navigate your way out of. And maybe it's making you feel like, I've made a big mistake here. You haven't. Stay the course. Keep going. You are safe. You are safe amidst uncertainty. That is probably the single greatest message you can take from this week. You are safe, even though you don't know what things look like in the future. You are safe right now, even though you don't even know really where you are right now. It's going to be okay. Reaching a point of being able to trust in the things that we cannot see is really super strong here, and links back to that miracle card as well. So the idea about making peace with uncertainty comes up. Staying on track with our goals, keeping going despite the storms, believing in things that maybe don't seem super likely right now, and yeah, just being really brave around that. Dealing with worries and anxiety, they're all shades of the same sort of central message, I would say. And I don't think I've really seen a week where so many cards have been so interwoven so strongly for a very long time. So clearly some of us need that. Probably all of us need it. Don't forget, if you would like to get greater clarity related to your circumstances, the best thing to do is to book a personal reading with me. You can do that from anywhere in the world thanks to Zoom. And the best way to do that is via my website, www.onegroundedangel.com. That's O-N-E, the word one, onegroundedangel.com. My Insta handle is @onegroundedangel, and I post each card each day there for you as well. You might get greater detail. And it's also really nice to see the comments. A lot of people will share how the message has spoken to them, and you might find that helpful and uplifting as well. I certainly do. Don't forget, I'm also on Facebook as well if you need to reach me. Also called One Grounded Angel, no surprises there. So take care, everybody. Look after yourselves, look after your people, and remember to stay the course. It's going to be okay. I don't know what that looks like yet either. Nobody can see the future, but we can see this beautiful guidance coming through to reassure us that we can get through this. Take care.